Welcome to Ground Control. I have an item for review. This is the KFF35 Micro Beginner Park Jet. It's courtesy of Banggood. I want to thank Banggood much for sending this for review. I have never flown a KF brand of plane, so this is going to be a first for me. Anyway, I just want to give you a summary of the functions of this plane, and then we'll take it out and throw it in the air. But it's made out of EPP foam, which is my favorite foam. It has a little game type controller, transmitter. It has a U-turn button. So when you get ready to launch your plane and you're going to have the nose pointed into the wind, you want to long press your U-turn button, and what that will do is record the direction that the nose is pointed. So if you press this button while you're flying, the plane will turn back toward the direction that it was launched from. So it's not a GPS plane, it's not going to fly back to you, but if you get it out too far and you can't tell whether it's coming toward you or going away from you, this button will save the plane from a flyaway if you can't tell what direction it's going. So you press that button and it's going to turn and come back to the direction from which it was launched. So it will be coming back toward you, depending on, how far it is to the left or the right of you. It's not going to come directly back to you, but it's going to come back your way. So that could save your plane from a flyaway if you get too far away. It on the top left-hand button, that is a stunt button. So you press that and then move your stick in the direction that you want it to roll, left or right or left. Or if you want it to do a loop, pull the stick down after you press the button. And this plane is also supposed to be able to do an outside loop. I haven't seen that before. So you can actually push the stick up and it's supposed to do an outside loop. So we're definitely going to test that out. It has two rate modes, low rate and high rate. And the top right hand button is your rate mode. So it should always start out in low rate mode. You press the button, you should hear two beeps. That'll be in high rate mode. Press it again, you'll hear one beep. That'll be low rate mode. So those are the basic functions of the plane and the transmitter, and we're going to test all of them today. So let's take it out and throw it in the air, see how it flies. I've never flown a KF brand of plane before, so I'm anxious to see how well their plane flies. And then we'll come back here and I'll give you more details on the plane. So I'll see you out there.
Okay, I have the KF F35 out here, Maiden Launch. Alright, so I've already got it bound up. Now I'm going to hold down, let me see, which way am I going to launch it? I'm going to launch it this direction. Okay, so I have recorded the direction the nose is pointing, so we'll see how that works out. Let's get about 80% throttle and a little chuck and see if it gets airborne. There we go. We are in the air. If I can get it to turn. Alright, I'm putting it in high rate. Wow, it is out there. Okay, so in low rate, really had a very wide turn. We'll put it back in low rate again and see here. Bring it back over here. Yeah, that is really, I've got full deflection on the sticks right now. I'm going to go right across the sun. Okay, well now I've got it in high rate. And I'm still having a hard time turning it. Hope you guys can see it, but okay, so it looks like the only way I can get it to turn, they must be using differential thrust on it. So the only way I can really get it to turn halfway decent is to throttle up a bit Look how slow. Okay, yeah, so if I throttle up a bit, then I can get it turning. I'm in high rate right now. I like high rate a lot better than low rate. Alright, let's see if we can bring it back down. I am just floating now. Look at that. I am just floating. So the gyro is really doing a good job of keeping it in the air. Yeah, you really need to throttle up almost the full throttle when you want to turn. Okay, I'm going to put it back in low rate and try that again. Yeah. So if you throttle up, it's still a pretty wide turn in low rate. Let me bring it back down. Whoa. A little jukey there. I'm putting it back in high rate again. Yeah, I really think that you need it in high rate. Alright, so I'm throttling up with it. Oh, I don't think I set my timer. Alright, got my timer going now. I had my timer set for 5 minutes. Man, you can cruise around slowly with this thing. But when you're turning, you really need to throttle up. Alright. And you can see when I'm losing lift there, it's getting pretty wobbly. But the gyro is doing a pretty good job of keeping it in the air. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to come around here and I want to hit the return key and see what it does. I'm going to go about 45 degrees out from where the nose was pointed. Okay, so I just pushed the button. I don't really see it doing anything. I throttled up to pull it back around. I didn't see it doing anything. I don't know if you guys heard the little beep when I pushed the button. I'll try it again. Okay, I just pushed it again. I'm not getting any return. So the return function does not seem to be working because I recorded the direction of the nose before I launched it. Okay, so now I want to try the stunt button. We got it in low rate. Well, it flipped over, but I didn't have much throttle on it. Okay, so that was a back roll, and I've got it in low rate. Get it back over here, and let's try that again. I give it a little throttle. It just kind of flips over. Let me bring it down a little bit. We're going to try a roll with it. I'm going to bring it back this way. Bring it back this way. I'm in low rate. Alright, now throttle up a little bit. Whoa! Okay, so that was a left roll. Let's bring it back over here again. And there was a right roll, but it's kind of jukey. Alright, so I'm going to put it back in high rate so I can get it to turn a little bit sharper. And then I want to see this inside roll that it's supposed to be able to do. Check that out, it did an outside loop. That is the first plane I have seen being able to do that. Oh, I don't think it will do the stunts in high rate. I must have. No, I'm in high rate now. Okay, let me put it back in low rate. Look at that. Look at it. That was an outside loop. I have never seen that before on one of these planes that has the stunt button. That is pretty slick. Look at that. You see it just kind of flip over a regular loop. Okay, so we know that the stunt functions work. And let me see, am I in high rate? I think I'm in high rate now. Okay, so it seems like it does the stunts in high rate and low rate. I want to try that outside loop again in high rate, see what it does. Yeah, it does. Look at that. Did you see that? Because I'm in high rate right now. Okay, I want to bring it down low. Okay, so now we've tested the functions on it. I just want to see how it cruises around in high rate mode. But the gyro works pretty darn good. Look at that. It does the high alpha thing. Not an extreme amount of high alpha, but it does hold the nose up, and so it flies really, really slowly. Look at that. That's not too bad. You could fly this in a pretty small area in high rate mode. I don't care for the low rate mode. It just the turns are just too darn wide. But in high rate mode, oh, there's my. Is that my timer going off already? Yeah, that's my timer. I didn't think I had it in the air already for 5 minutes. Okay, so let's bring it out here on the road and see if we can land it. But very stable, even at extremely slow speed. I'm surprised. Okay, so let's see if we can float it in here. Get it over the road. Oh, I missed the road. Let's try that again. I don't know how much flight time I'm going to get out of it. Check it out. Check it out. Watch. Ah! I thought I was going to be able to put it down nice and smooth. I got the throttle there at the end and it just dropped. But that's pretty slick. I have never seen one of these planes do an outside loop like that. But I want to put another battery pack in it. Now that I'm kind of used to the functions on this little plane. Put another battery pack in it, and I want to see how I can cruise it around at low altitude so you guys can see it better. The only function that doesn't seem to work is the U-turn function. That did not seem to work at all for me. And like I said, I recorded the direction the nose was pointed before I launched it. So when I pressed the U-turn button, it should have turned back around and come back in the direction in which it was launched, and it did not do that. But the stunt function seems to work in high rate and low rate. Don't care for low rate. The turns are just way too large a radius of a turn, but it handles really nicely in high rate. So I want to launch it in high rate this time. We put a new battery in it and just kind of cruise it around here and see how well I can cruise it around in high rate mode. And then, I don't know, bring it over and see if we can do a touch and go with it or something. See you in a minute. Okay, chance 2. So let me see here. I'm going to put it in high rate mode. There we go, high rate mode. So let's give it 80% throttle, throw it into the wind, and see if it takes off okay in high rate mode. Yeah, it sure does. So I just want to see, we know the stunt button and everything's working. The outside loops were pretty cool. But I just want to kind of cruise around here in high rate mode because you can turn it a lot sharper. Look how slow that flies. And you need to give it a little bit of gas in the turns, because I think it not only uses the aileron, but I think it uses the differential thrust to make the turns. At least that's the way it seems to me. But look how slowly this thing flies with that little bit of high alpha that it produces. Bring it back over here. I'm running circuits because I've got this big ball of fire behind me. It's early in the morning. It's very low in the sky, but look at this. Look at this. Look at the gyro. Keep the wings straight and level on that as slow as I was flying. That is pretty slick. I don't seem to have as much turn to the right as I do to the left. Maybe it's the wind. But look how slow. That's pretty amazing. How slowly this thing is flying. Okay, I want to bring it through here again. Alright, I want to take it out to the road. I want to see if I can do a touch and go with it, although we've got a crosswind. We got a pretty good crosswind coming across the road from where I launched it. But I want to see if I can get it lined up with the road and see if I can do a touch and go with it. Did it! Did a touch and go. Let's try to do that again. Make sure nobody's coming. Alright, so let's see if we get it lined up with the runway again. Line up with the runway. Line up with the runway and the crosswind. This thing is so light. Line up with the runway. Oh, it's trying to push it over. Touch and go. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, I want to bring it over here in this direction. I want to try a right-hand turn with it again, just to see if it was the. Yeah, I think it was the wind, because I'm getting a sharp turn to the right there. But I've got this crosswind that it's pushing against, and it flies so slowly. I think you really need. We'll bring it down a bit. You really need very little wind with this plane. And like I said, the high rate mode is what I like, because you can really spin it around. But it flies so slowly, even in high rate mode. Look at that. Now watch when I come back through here again into the wind. Look how slowly that flies. Yeah, so you can fly this in high rate mode. You can fly this in a pretty small area. Look at that. I tell you, it's pretty darn stable. You know, as long as you don't lose lift. I mean, there's nothing the gyro can do about that. You don't want to slow up too darn much. But I'm amazed at how slowly you can fly this little plane. Look at this. Look at this. Look how slow that is. And I've just got, I don't know, about a 2 to 4 mile per hour wind out here this morning. But pretty slick. Pretty slick. Give it a little gas in the turn. Look at that. Look at that. That is slow. Alright, shall we try touch and go one more time? I think I forgot to start my timer. Let's do another touch and go here. We can get it lined up. Get it lined up and get descended here. Easy, easy. Doesn't like it when I push the nose down. It gets a little squirrely when I push the nose down. Look at that, touch and go again. That's I don't know. Couple of successful touch and goes with it, but that's pretty cool. So you can really have some fun with this little plane. I'm pretty impressed with it. Like I said, it's unfortunate that the U-turn function doesn't seem to work, but the stunt function appears to work in low rate and high rate mode. It flies extremely slow. It flies extremely slow. Gas up here. I don't know how much flight time you get out of it, but I had my timer set for 5 minutes. So my guess is you could probably get 6 or 7 minutes out of it. But extremely slow flying plane. I know it's a 4-channel plane, but it flies more like it really flies more like a 2-channel plane to me than a 4-channel plane, because it does not like to have the nose pushed down on it. It gets pretty squirrely. Watch, I'll push the nose down on it again. Well, I guess if you push the nose down gradually, it didn't seem to have a problem there. Maybe I was just too slow when I pushed the nose down. Let's try that again. I'll bring it over here and push the nose down. Okay, well, it's working fine with that. I think maybe I was just going too slow when I pushed the nose down. But yeah, that seemed to work fine. It really speeds up when you push the nose down on it. But you don't want to do it when you're flying slowly. Yeah, so that picks up speed pretty good when you're pushing the nose down on it a little bit. And look how sharp that turn was. So that is pretty slick. So you can fly it faster without any problem. And you can fly it really, really slowly. So, not a bad little plane, I have to say. Look at that. You can see it crabbing in that. You see it crabbing in the crosswind there. But it seems to be really, really stable. All right. So I've got to be about at the end of my battery pack. I think I forgot to set my timer. I haven't heard it go off yet, and I'm sure I've had this in the air for 5 minutes. Let's see if we can do one more touch and go with it. Am I getting overconfident? Can I do it again? Can I do it? Let's see. Did it! That wasn't a very good one. I hit pretty hard, but I did get it right back in the air again. So that's pretty cool. So it's got enough power to do stuff like that. Because I was almost at a stop there and then took back off. So pretty neat little plane. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Sharp turns. Sharp turns, you can fly it in a small area and you can fly it extremely slowly. So, it doesn't really handle like a 4-channel plane to me. You know, probably because it does the high alpha all the time. And if you push the nose down, you wanna make sure you have a little speed when you push the nose down. But look how slow that. All right, so let's bring it in for a landing. Let's bring it in for a landing in a crosswind. If we can do touch and goes, surely we can land it. I say that. Watch now. I'll probably crash. But. All right, so we'll slow it down. There, hey, that wasn't too bad for coming into a crosswind. It landed pretty nicely. So I'm pretty impressed with this little plane. It's working really, really well. Awesome. So, okay, so stay tuned for review part 2. I'll try to get review part 2 done as soon as I can. This is the first day in almost a week that I have had weather to come out and fly. Either it has been extremely windy, and we're going through our monsoon season right now. So this is the first day where we have not had rain yet, but it's early. So, but pretty cool little plane. I'll meet you back at the hangar. I'll give you the rest of the details on this little plane, and then I'll get more competent with it, and I'll put up review part 2, and we'll see what else we can get it to do. All right, see you back at the hangar.
Okay, so I had a lot of fun with this plane out there today, and it's a very nice looking airframe. I had a lot of fun with it. I was able to do touch and goes with it. The second flight, I had it in the air for 10 minutes, and I think it could have kept going. So it looks to me like you get more than 10-minute flights off of this plane. That's pretty darn good for a battery that's spinning 2 motors. All right, so with the plane, you get a nice color brochure. I got the 3 battery version. I want to thank Bango for sending me the 3 battery version. They're 1S 600 milliamp hour LiPos. It looks like a PH2 connector on the end, but it's not a PH2. It's larger than a PH2. So I think they just refer to that as a Molex plug. So it has a Molex connector on it. Okay, you get a screwdriver. This, I was really surprised by this, but it's on the control horns for the control surfaces. It doesn't have a standard control horn. It has a ball link. And one thing I was surprised by was when I put this in the air, the elevator wasn't real twitchy like most of the micros I've flown. And that is because on the control horns, they put the control rod on the innermost hole on the servo control arm. So that's why the elevator isn't twitchy, because they set it up that way from the beginning. So kudos for them for doing that. I didn't have to modify any of the linkage. So you get a tool for removing the linkage from the ball link. You get a USB charger, and you get a spare set of props. So far I'm pretty impressed with this plane. I'm impressed with the amount of thrust that it produces. It's got a sufficient amount of thrust. It's not a powerhouse. Those outside loops were pretty cool. I've never seen one of these planes be able to do an outside loop with the stunt button. I think you need a little more speed for a standard inside loop. And for the rolls, I think because it was in high alpha, the rolls weren't really good. But stick around. I went ahead and put more flights on this plane. I think I put 3 more battery packs through it. So stay tuned for review part 2. I've got more to show you. But so far, I am pretty darn impressed with this little plane, with its slow flight capability, with the stability of the gyro, the stunts that it performs are pretty fun. It has a decent little plastic wheel landing gear on it. I was kind of surprised that I was able to come in and land it pretty easily, and it actually rolled in that rough terrain out there, and I was able to come in and do touch and goes with it. So it's a very fun little plane. I had a blast with it. So like I said, stay tuned for review part 2. I have something else to show you with this plane. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.